All right, so welcome to another episode. Today we're going to take a look at Boeing and we're going to see, hey, how much higher can this stock go and some things to kind of watch out for. All right, so let's check things out right here. I want to pinpoint a couple of quick things. Keep in mind, none of these are recommendations to buy, sell, or trade. This video goes out to Jeff. Thank you so much for asking about it. And if you're brand new, feel free to subscribe to our Discord channel. So that way you can also request tickers and stocks for some analysis. So anyways, as we check out Boeing here, I want to take a look at the longer term picture and we'll start with that and then we'll get into some shorter term and so forth. So we'll start with the longer term because I don't know if you're personally going to look at things from a long-term investment standpoint, a medium term or a short term. So everybody's at a different point. So as you're watching this video, keep that in the back of your head as we look forward. Okay, so here the stock was opened up in the 80s. You can see we've got a pretty good solid support level that the stock's trending. So we're actually kind of near that lower bottom level, which is great, right? So if we're looking at it from a channel perspective, the stock continues to trend well. We're kind of in the middle range right now from that. So if we just draw kind of an average line, we're kind of right in the middle. So up or down, we don't know. But overall, here's our kind of channel that we're kind of moving through. So this is the long-term investment perspective. So if you're buying it as a long-term investment, you're kind of buying it on average price. Not a great deal, not a bad deal. Okay. As we go kind of more into a weekly time frame, so you can see here's a chart from the year 2000. We've got some serious support around $30. We also have some technical levels at around 100 where the stock broke out, went a bit sideways, pressed and pushed higher, and then we got into the 400s, very extended, and the stock just basically plummeted. So let's zoom into this area here. Okay. So as we go in here and we start looking in a little further, you can see we've got this big run up. I'm going to go into the monthly chart for the time being. It's just a little more cleaner. So I look at this as the 150 was kind of that breakout point. And then you also had about that 125 as the support. And you see we came right back down into it. And now we're doing kind of this counter trend bounce. So there's a few things that I'd really be concerned about within this stock. So again, keep in mind the longer term perspective, we're still trending on the up channel, but we're on the average point, right? Right now though, as we look into this average zone, okay, this was the upper end in around the 400. And as we sold off and now we're bouncing up, we're actually at the upper end right now, at the upper end of the shorter term or kind of medium term perspective. So I would look at things as saying, hey, this stock could get a little more weak because I don't know if this will turn into an A to B, B to C, C to D problem. So this could be a to B, B to C, C to D problem where now we could be pulling back even further on that, remember, longer term perspective, finding that support on that diagonal level. Or we could actually break out here higher again, but we will see. Time will tell. The market is acting a little weak and choppy. So the other thing I'm looking at is now as we get into the weekly, okay, so here it is. Here's kind of the next one. So again, we had this big sell-off. We went up to this level on this diagonal level. And then again, 200 is kind of that support level that we were looking at. Again, nice round number. People like that kind of stuff. Okay, I'll get it at that, 200 sounds good. So for the last year, this stock has kind of been just doing a little bit sideways action, okay, in 2021. And as we get into the daily, there's a lot of chop in here. So I would look for, if you're looking at the daily, right now you've got this little gap that was around 160, and there's the 180. That came into these support levels. So as we bring this line back, you can also see a few swing points that got hit. So those are kind of your critical support levels and lines that you're watching. But for the shorter term, like if you're really looking for like the next week or month, the 225 is going to be a little bit of a problem because this stock, as we zoom in, you can see we've got a lot of issues right around that 230 level, 225, 230, because that's where that stock came in like a couple times and just rejected it. And after this big sell-off that we had, okay, so now we're coming right back into it. And it's quite possible that with this run up, we could get this drawdown again a little bit to kind of just retest certain levels. And I'm not saying it's going to come back to the 190, okay, because then you're looking at 190. No, I don't think that. I think it could just come back to retest maybe something like 210, and then it could power higher. But we need to be very careful with earnings right here. Earnings are on 126, which is coming up very soon. So that's going to really dictate a lot of the price movement, whether it's going to push higher, lower. and we're going to see how that pans out. But I would say if you're looking at a shorter term perspective, 190 and 230 are kind of the levels. 210 is another minor support if it gets there. But if it breaks out here, because here's the risk to reward, if it does break past 230, you've got a problem at 240 again. So I would just watch out for those levels. And I marked 240 because you got a swing point here. You got a swing point here, so we've got some swing points there that also could play a big problem in that area, because then you're just getting even more stretched, and that would be a little bit more extended. So just be careful in that level. That's the way I would look at it. Is just, hey, just take a little off the top, because this one is kind of stretched from 190. You know, from this pullback to where we're at now, we are up almost 24%. Since December. So that stock has ran up quite a bit. So anyways, from a shorter term perspective, I think it could pull back. If we're looking at more this longer term perspective, and we're looking at kind of this monthly chart, you're kind of looking at it just being more in the average side of things for the time being. Anyway, I hope that helps, gives you some insight on the stock. Definitely check out my Trader's Fight channel if you're interested in trading options and taking things a bit further, and like vertical spreads, butterflies, iron condors, and that kind of thing. Otherwise, check out the Discord channel if you want to request your own ticker symbols and other things that I cover. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.